In the last video, I showed you how to do loop recording, and once you've done loop recording, you're all set up to do comping. That means creating a composite best take from all of the different takes you did during loop recording. Now, before I start doing the composite, I like to actually create a copy of the edit. And in order to do that, I'm just going to close this edit 01, which is the one I'm using, save it. I'll close this other one too because I'm not using that. I have this in the audio editing project, and I have several edits that I've been using for the different examples for the videos here, but I'm just going to click on this particular edit and create a copy. And you'll see that creates a copy of loop recording, and then down here I can just give it a new name. I'm just going to call it comping 01. And then over here I can put in an explanation of what this is. So this will be the guitar lead comping edit, but I can go back into the loop recording here and say this is the loop recording of the guitar lead before comping. So I can always come back to this point if something goes horribly wrong with the comping and I just want to try to do it a different way. I just think, especially if you're working with another artist or a singer or something like that, you're not sure if the comping that you do is going to be the final one. You can save it, then you can come back to this point. I'll click on the comping project and open it. And now we have exactly what we had before because I just created a copy of it. You click on the clip where you did the loop recording, and it's got this plus here, and then you do show takes. And then that shows all of the individual takes. So right now, what you're going to hear is what's in green. And we can swipe over anything we want in order to select the different takes that we want to actually move up to the top line. I'll just hit undo a few times. Now there's a few things I like to set up for comping a little differently than normal. One, there is the option here, return cursor to start when play stops. Since I'm going to be going phrase by phrase, I like to set it up where when I get the cursor to a spot here, I want to be able to have it return to that spot because I'm going to keep auditioning all these different loops. Another thing that's helpful here is positioning the cursor by using the timeline. So under options, there's an option for the timeline drag action to drag to position the cursor. So I'm going to flip that right now. So now if I go up here, I can easily click to position the cursor on the timeline. Normally you can't do that unless you change that option. So the way this works for me then is that I can set the cursor here, try out a phrase, and then when I want to go to the next phrase, I just click right here. And I'm ready to move to the next phrase. So that's kind of my setup for comping. Normally I will change those options back after I'm finished comping. All right, so once you show all of the takes, then all you need to do is swipe over each phrase. So what I'm going to do is swipe. I'm going to pick the longest one here and just swipe over this one here. And then I'll position the cursor by clicking right up in here and audition this. All right, well that didn't really work out to be the best one, but I can easily audition the other ones by just clicking on the other track, and this whole window will actually move to a different track, and it will promote that to our keeper take. Maybe. All right, so we'll keep that one, and then we'll move on to the next phrase. So I'll draw in my window here, move the cursor here. Not too bad. Maybe. All right, I'll leave it set here right now, and we'll move on to the next one. So we could just quickly go through this. I'll create the swipe over the next phrase. Move the cursor to the beginning of that phrase, and we'll start auditioning this phrase. Well, there's problems with that one. There's problems with the ending of that one. The beginning of it might work. All right, so that maybe will work in conjunction with this other one. So I'll create a new window here And you can kind of see how this works. All right, so that's not too bad. That won't work. Now here, I didn't draw the window or the swipe quite right, so I'll just extend it back a little bit. All right, so I used a little bit of something from every track except for, I guess, that top one, though this phrase here might be the one to use instead of this one down here. I'm not sure. I'll just go with that. That way I've got something from every single take. And now let's just rewind and play that back and see how that sounds. All right, so at least it's a coherent melody. Maybe not the best played, but kind of suits this, I think. So now I've pieced together for my loop recording the best composite. At this point, I can hide all these takes like this. At this point, I could say, well, I'm done with that. And this gives you the ability to open this, show takes, and adjust this composite at any point. But you do have all this working in the background. If you think you're done and you want to move on, keep in mind we copied the edit when we started, so we can still come back to this point by going back to the previous edit. So if you want, you can flatten the takes using flatten the current comp. That means flatten the composite that we've just created. If we select that, it will warn you that once you've done this, you can't undo back out of this. I'm going to do it anyway because I've saved it. So you can flatten it. Another thing you could also do is just copy this entire clip before you do this. But I'm going to go ahead and do it. We'll click Flatten Current Composite, Flatten. And then we get one solid take as if we played it this way in the beginning. And that's how comping works in Traction 5. Thanks for watching.